Hello and welcome to this new tutorial for Botcha. In this tutorial, I am going to use a scan of a shoe and the relative last, the production last, in order to have try to extract the pattern of the shoe. So whether I don't have the patterns, whether I only have a scanning, for example, or whatever situation, I can use this technique to get out the reference line, at least the style line and the design line um, for the pattern. So here in my file, I have the scan and I have the last. The last has been cleaned up a bit. I've removed the parts that I'm not interested in, and I have remeshed it, as you can see. The first step is going to be aligning the last, of course. And what I want to do is I want to align it. I can eyeball this. I don't need to be like super precise. What what I want to do is, in this case, for example, I possibly want to scale this a bit. So I'm going to try to align it as best we can, and then I'm going to scale it a bit from here, down here. So now we have a fairly good fit. And the second step is going to be for me unwrapping this last. So I'm selecting this last, and I am going to go to the UV editor and unwrap it. So here I have my unwrapping. What I want to do is now I want to add this to the document. Here I have my unwrapping and my last. And then I'm going to copy this, paste it. And the second thing that I want to do now, have the production last with its unwrapping, and now I have another last that I copied. And what I want to do for this is I want to snap it to the mesh that I have here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a snap to mesh modifier targeting this mesh, and this will then compute. So we can also hide this now. This is a little bit not exactly what I want. Can reduce the distance so that I have something a little slightly better. And of course, I want to reduce quite a bit. And maybe I can. I gotta play with this a bit. This will allow me to basically get near to the mesh. And so in this case, I also got the tongue, so here it's not super nice, but here I am doing something I think quite interesting. I can reduce this quite further. There have slightly adapted mesh, and what I'm gonna add also here, it's not a smoothing step, just to get it nice and smoothing. So the factor of 0.2 and let's say 5 steps. So now I have a kind of a last which gets closer to the original one. So I'm gonna apply all the modifiers and get a quite diverse uh, last. Now I'm gonna get my scanning again, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to unwrap this scan. Um, so to do that, to unwrap properly the scan, I have my uh, the mesh that I just deformed to match a little bit more the mesh. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this as a mapping mesh between the 3D and the 2D. So if I go from here to here, then I'm gonna have a flattened um, scan. So here I have it, and I can reapply the material. Yep. To get like a uh, nice view for it. So let me go back to shaded. So now that I have my mesh that I can see through, I can use it quite easily to start tracing this. Now, as you can see, I have my mesh that has been now really well unwrapped, and I have all the reference line in my flattening. And I could isolate part by part, but another option that is still available to me is I can take this 3D mesh and I can use it for drawing lines here, if this is easier now. And I can extract the lines from here and project them into the 3D. It's kind of similar process. Of course, given that the mesh is a very high density mesh, um, it's going to yield like kind of weird results. But both of these options are available to me when I wanna work. So if I prefer not to unwrap the 3D part, but I'd rather trace on the 3D, that is something I can always do. And of course, I'm tracing everything with the same color, which is probably not the smartest idea. But I can use several different type of colors when tracing around. And then I can use the reference mesh I created, the red one in this case, to flatten it. I'm gonna trace a couple more lines and then show you how to flatten them. So now that I have my 3D, I'm gonna take all this line, hide them. I'm gonna bring back my flatten mesh. So now that I have all these curves, I'm gonna select them all and use the mapping to bring them down. Of course, there's some weird lines going on because the lines that this one, I say weird, another line that is on the mesh. The lines that wrap around the seam, they will go around the seam. But for example, here in the toe cap area, I have my wrap lines, which I can then take, project to C-plane, and I have some and can start either rebuilding the curves, taking them somehow around, trying to clean them up a bit, however I like, and then start building. Okay, here I have my toe cap. I can start building my toe cap, or I have my heel guard, whatever I have, and I can use those lines to rebuild the model. Hopefully this was informative, and if you do have anything that you want to ask, just reach out.